you understand that, Mr. June 7th?
June 7th, yeah.
So you come back in a week, sir. Thank you. And are you in touch with your lawyer? Any difficulty? Are you able to speak to your lawyer, Mr. Van? Yeah. Okay, good. All right, see you then. The Andros matter, that's your matter then? It is. Stand that down for just a few minutes. We'll call you in a few minutes just to the Andros, okay?
For 74 and 75, William Lewis.
No, I'm not.
Who are you?
I'm William of the Brewis clan. Is this an admiralty court?
Mr. Lewis, are you William Lewis?
No, I'm not.
You responded to the name. Are you known as William Lewis?
I'm no longer even a trustee to the agency known as William James Brewis, in all capital letters.
If you're not William Brewis and William Brewis doesn't answer to his case today, the court will issue a warrant for William Brewis to be arrested.
Did you receive motions this morning?
I received some papers. I'm just suggesting to you that if you believe you are known by other authorities, not necessarily yourself as William Lewis, then I'd ask you to identify yourself. Otherwise,
Am I performing a function of government?
Otherwise, you have no standing with the court, and I'll issue a warrant. So, it's a simple question. Are you known as William Brewis?
Yes, I'm known as William Brewis, but I'm not the William Brewis, the agency that you're claiming.
So, you're not the William Brewis who is charged with failing to comply condition of recognizance and other charges? You're not that William Brewis?
Those are the presumptions that are put forth to the court. That's correct.
All right.
And I'm here to refute those presumptions.
Fair enough. Okay, so I'm satisfied that the man who appears as 74-75 William James Brewis is before me in the court has jurisdiction. I received some three...
I'd like to constitutionally challenge that jurisdiction.
All right. I received three motions. Motion to dismiss for failure to state a cause of action. Motion to dismiss lack of subject matter jurisdiction and to dismiss such sham proceedings. So these are motions that you're filing with the court. Is there another one?
Does the Crown have a cause of action?
So, and dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction. What's the Crown's position with respect to these motions? What process do you wish to follow? I know that there is a decision from Justice Martin in the Court of Queen's Bench with respect to matters such as this, that Mr. Brewis, or the man who is willing to identify himself as Mr. Brewis...
I did not identify myself as the agency.
So you're not William Brewis?
I did not identify myself as the agency that's in...
Well, if you're not William Brewis, then if you're not the man known as William Brewis, then you don't have standing to appear for the charges of crime. Mr. Brewis, I understand what your motions say. I understand the position you would take with respect to the lack of personal jurisdiction and the fact that you don't believe that there's jurisdiction to try you, that you're an agency or another individual.
I'm standing here in proper propria persona, and all capital letter name
Why is it that when
is a capitis diminutio. So,
when I called William Brewis, you stood up?
because unfortunately, if I don't, the RCMP are going to come to my house, which are your agents, to come and drag me out of my house again. So, without a lawful warrant, mind you.
Do you want to get a lawyer?
No.
All right. So you want to represent yourself on these matters?
I cannot, as far as I'm concerned, the agency is now in the custody of the Governor General of Canada, so I can't legally represent that trust,
So,
because I'm no longer even the trustee.
so you're not going to get a lawyer to represent you, and you're not going to represent yourself.
Well, if you're going to keep presuming that I am the trust, then yes, I obviously have to,
Okay.
because the tyranny that doesn't stop and presumptions don't stop.
Right. Have you seen a copy of what the police and the Crown allege?
No, I'd like a copy for my evidence to take it to the criminal, to lay my own criminal charges,
So
under common law.
that's being provided to you, so that a document of the disclosure.
I'll make a copy. Can I have 2 copies of these so I can forward them to the Governor General of Canada as well?
You'll be responsible for making the copy and forwarding copies to whoever you wish.
Okay.
All right, the town is only obligated to provide.
So you're not dealing with any of my motions?
So we'll get to your motions in a minute. Just so you know, you read that over, and if there is information in there that you feel the police or the prosecution have that you further wish to disclose, you need to bring that to the attention of the prosecutor.
Well, in order for me to do any of that, I need to know whether we're in Admiralty law, Canadian Maritime law, or are we in common law?
Well, we're not.
Like, I need to know which remedies I can use in this de facto court.
Well, just so we're clear, Mr. Brewer, I'm actually not sure what it is you're talking about when you talk about Admiralty law or anything else. This is a...
Well, if I could have...
Mr. Brewer, just let me speak. This is a court of criminal jurisdiction. You're being charged with obstruction or resist peace officer, fight from peace officer, and 2 charges if they want to comply with condition of recognizance. This court has jurisdiction over them under the Criminal Code of Canada. That's the jurisdiction that the court will exercise to try you. You are presumed innocent. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to retain and instruct counsel. You have the right to have a trial and to say to the Crown, I'm not guilty. Bring your evidence before me, and if they're unable to satisfy a judge that you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, then you will remain innocent of all of the charges as you are now. The judge has the jurisdiction to hear the evidence.
That's sorry to interrupt, but that's because you're presuming that I'm acting as a function of government and that I'm actually a part of your society when I'm not.
Well, you're here, Mr. Brewis, is standing charged with the charges. If at any time you tell me that you're not representing William Brewis, who is charged on the docket, I won't speak to you, and William Brewis will have a warrant and be arrested. So,
Okay, well, I'm going to be documenting all this for the appeal.
perfect.
Good.
I'm not sure what you're appealing from because I haven't done anything yet.
Well, I'm always doing an appeal, sir.
With respect to your motions, they'll be filed as a motion to dismiss for lack of personal jurisdiction will be filed as Exhibit 1 on the motion. Exhibit 2 on the motion, I'll deal with all the motions together, is to dismiss for failure to state a cause of action. 3 is a motion to dismiss lack of subject matter jurisdiction, and 4 is a motion to dismiss sham proceedings. And you filed these motions, you have a right to have a hearing on the motions before this court. The Crown has the right to tell me whether or not they're prepared to proceed this morning on the motions, or whether or not you wish to set up another time for the motions to be heard. But he's filed these motions, and it's up to me to determine if I have any jurisdiction on the motions, and if I do, what I do with the motions. So.
Well, I haven't seen them. I haven't read them, so no, I wouldn't be prepared to respond to them.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy to give her a couple of weeks if she'd like to go over them.
Well, it's actually not you that gives the time, it'll be me, but
Well,
I am certainly, I think that's reasonable to have the Crown do that. And we may have to set a hearing, a special hearing apart from the charges to hear these motions and to determine whether they have validity and whether or not...
Sir, and I also like to caution the Crown, which is my trustee, so in reality, by the live record of birth that I do have with me today, currently, to prove who I am in proper persona, and I do not operate as a function of government. I never have. There's no contract of the sort, and if there is, I demand that there's a payroll provided to me, and if the court is going to make me be a function of government, my hourly rate is $500 an hour.
Yeah, well, you're not going to get a cent
So.
from the court.
No, I'm just saying, as long as the court's going to keep forcing me to act as a trustee to an account that is not mine,
Well,
under the law of principle of law and agency, I'm sure we understand what we're talking about here.
actually,
Right.
Mr. Brewis, I don't completely understand. I get what you're doing, Mr. Brewis. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a stupid individual. I get what you're doing. But quite frankly, some of what you're saying is deliberate gobbledygook. I don't think you're a stupid guy. I think you're attempting to...
Well,
but in any
I'd like to offer
Mr. Brewis,
you some information
if
if
you
you want.
feel that the court owes you money, then your remedy would be to file a motion in the Court of Queen's Bench. They would be the ones to have the jurisdiction to hear whether or not the Provincial Court of Manitoba is obliged to pay you for your offense.
Well, I'm not in contract with you or the Government of Canada. So if you're going to keep presuming that I am acting as a function of government and making me work for you, I think we need to be in a contract to do that.
Well, we're not.
So that was my contract.
So we're not in a contract, Mr. Brewis, and you won't be getting any money from the court. And I can tell you that if you don't come to the Court of Claims when you're required and properly attorned to the jurisdiction of the court, that means to tell me, as you did today, that in some fashion you're known as William Brewis, and William Brewis will have a warrant and you'll be arrested. So
As long as it's in the propria persona name, that's under common law rights, not under Admiralty law or Canadian Maritime law.
Just be careful about what it is that you're trying to do. So,
Oh, I completely understand the laws of contract in this country
good.
that have been here since before 1666, which I should actually, next hearing, if I don't get remedy and you guys do not recognize who I am, I will be closing the contract under seal, known as the live record of birth.
Perfect. And then you won't be William Brewis or appearing for William Brewis after that, correct?
That's correct.
Good. And then if that's
So
the case,
I'll have that for you for our next hearing.
perfect. And then if you're closing whatever you say the contract is and refusing to recognize yourself as William Brewis because you don't have a contract and closing your live birth, at that point in time, William Brewis will not be appearing before me, and I'll issue a warrant for William Brewis, and the police will arrest who they believe William Brewis is. So I'm just telling you...
That's fine, we can deal with this constitutionally for the next 10 years. And until the rest of our learned friends actually decide to do some reading.
Are you prepared to, he's suggesting 2 weeks?
I'm not here in 2 weeks.
All right, June 21st, are you present?
Yes, but I can't say whether we'll be, I can't
understand.
imagine we would proceed to a hearing.
Well,
I can't imagine, so we...
I would suggest to Ms. Leslie that to be, and I can provide you with copies of the document. Do you have extra copies? Or?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I'll provide copies of the document
Yes.
this morning to you, and you can certainly in that time prosecutions and perhaps with the Constitutional Law Branch as to whether or not they want to deal with the matters summarily on June 21st, or if we want to have a special hearing. I would certainly be prepared to deal with them on June 21st. But that, certainly, you have that right to. So we're going to give her 3 weeks, because she's not here.
I agree, sure. That's good.
I'll make the call.
No problem.
So,
She might need a little bit more time than that to go over all the case law.
I'm sure. So, Mr. Brewis, we'll see you or whoever it is that you claim you are on June 21st.
I'm not claiming I'm anybody except for the proper persona that's not in contract with the Government of Canada.
Perfect.
And that includes you. Thank you very much. This is all public knowledge, folks. You guys should have seen him. Seriously. Oh.
You told them straight?
Oh, how did I ever live there?